Okay. Yeah, I guess we can already get started. Thank you so much, everyone. I think it's everyone from across the globe. It's such a pleasure to always host a diverse number of participants who come to listen in and to share their ideas and explore ideas and opportunities that the young people can harness into. So thank you so much for joining. Today, we are presenting to you the BeChangeMaker Youth Festival 2026. Yay! So this is the festival that allows you to share your insights. You're able to connect with different speakers from different parts of the world. And of course, we get to hear what is happening in the skills ecosystem. So today's theme, we are going to focus on the Changemakers Toolkit, skills for life in the future economy. So we have had a lot of talk about the future of work, and we wonder what exactly do young people need to have, or what skills are needed for them to move faster and to adapt into this new future economy and the future of work. So today we have a stellar list of speakers. You're going to be surprised by what we have installed for you. And we're going to just explore these themes. We're going to look and understand what skills are needed, how do you get them, who has been working on these skills, and what are some of the examples that you can share and harness. And this is what is going to form your toolkit, these examples, this relatability. This is your toolkit that you're going to take home with you at the end of this panel. So without me giving away too much, I'd like to start this session officially by welcoming all of you. And we're going to hear from our head of UNESCO-UNEVOC, who is going to give us the welcoming remarks. Over to you, Mr. Friedrich Schubler. Welcome.
Thank you, Priscilla. Can you just check if you can hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
welcome. Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, well, hello everyone from Germany. I saw in the chat that we have participants from Africa, Asia, Europe, and Latin America, and it's really great to be here today with so many change makers from around the world. I think we can say we are united by a shared belief that young people can drive meaningful social, economic, and environmental change when they're equipped with the right skills and opportunities. And this is very much aligned with the vision of UNESCO-UNEVOC. Our aim is to empower youth through technical and vocational education and training so that they can access decent work, build sustainable livelihoods, and contribute to inclusive and just societies, regardless of their origin and background. In 2025, we celebrated the first BeChangeMaker Youth Festival as a dedicated space for our growing network of alumni, for them to connect, learn, and inspire each other. And the second festival today has the theme, the Changemakers Toolkit, Skills for Life in the Future Economy. This theme reflects the fact that we are in a world shaped by uncertainty, disruption, and constant change, and narrow technical skills are no longer enough. Young people today need other skills for their education, professional, career, and daily life, such as critical thinking, resilience, collaboration, digital literacy, ethical reasoning, and self-directed learning. And today's program addresses this reality. It brings together youth and BeChangeMaker alumni alongside practitioners, mentors, and other partners. And over the next hours, you will hear from young social innovators who are addressing climate vulnerability, digital exclusion, youth unemployment, and other challenges. Their initiatives show how skills for life can be learned and applied through social enterprises, community projects, and innovative approaches to TVET. I would like to express, of course, my sincere appreciation to our partners, World Skills International and HP, for their continued commitment and support. I thank all speakers, mentors, and the organizing team who have made this event possible. And I'm especially delighted to welcome our new partner, YMCA Europe. To all participants, I hope that you will use this festival to reflect on the skills you already have and on the skills that you want to develop, and then how you can apply these skills for the benefit of your communities. And with that, I wish you all an inspiring and energizing BeChangeMaker Festival. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that welcome. Very warm. And I believe everybody is happy to be welcomed by our head of UNESCO-UNEVOC. So moving on, we want to hear also a welcome note from one of the founders of the BeChangeMakers, and this is Mr. Marcus Schvetter, who is the Director for Government Affairs and Public Policy at HP. Over to you, Marcus.
Wonderful. Good morning from my time zone. My name is Markus Schwertl. I work for HP in the Government Affairs Department. It is a real pleasure being on this session today because the alum work of BeChangeMaker is something very new to this movement, and I think it is a very relevant and important one. I'm specifically happy recognizing some of the names of the finalists from years in the past. So thanks for joining, and really happy to have you on this call. Thanks to the organizers from UNESCO-UNEVOC. I mentioned to them beforehand. I think the UNESCO-UNEVOC webinars that they are running are really energizing ones. So I can't wait to see what's coming for today. From an HP perspective, our commitment to be changemaker as something to empower future work and empower learners to be ready for the future of work is something really important. And as those who went through the program know, our contribution is also our learning content, HP Live, the HP Learning Initiative for Entrepreneurship with online content. And thank you so much for those of you who have given feedback on what worked for them and what might be better. Always helpful, and we're always eager and willing to learn. HP is on a mission to accelerate digital equity for 150 million people by 2030. So these are big numbers. And what really counts is every single individual, thanks to skills and continuous learning, can make a better life. This is what makes us really proud. There's not just content that we provide to the BeChangeMaker movement, but the other, is it fair to say asset? I think it sounds really bad because another really crucial element are the mentors, HP employees who are mentoring the finalist teams and share their thoughts, but not um, in an instructional way. It is really a mutual talking with each other and learning from each other. So it is also a great experience for the HP employees to volunteer and to share their thoughts. And I have lots of emails coming from them saying that this is such a relevant area for their work, and that makes them proud. So with that, from an HP perspective, we are proud partners of the Changemaker. We continue to be proud partners to be Changemaker. And with that, back to you, Priscilla. And I'm curious what you have in mind for us. Can't wait.
Yeah, I want to keep everybody guessing, but thank you so much for that and really affirming the commitment that HP has for the Be Change Maker and basically for the development of skills for young people. And also to give you a welcome note is the original founder who is World Skills International, and we're going to hear from Mr. Oliver Dubale, who is the Partnership Programs Manager. Over to you, Oliver.
Thanks, Priscilla, and thanks everyone. Yes, so as mentioned, obviously, BeChangeMaker was launched in 2017 by World Skills International and the HP Foundation. And it was created as a social entrepreneurship training program designed to equip young people with skills, tools, confidence to tackle some of the world's most pressing challenges. And over that past decade, the impact's been remarkable. BeChangeMakers received over 5,500 applications and directly supported almost 900 young people, including this year's cohort. Each of these participants represents not just an idea, but a commitment to creating meaningful and lasting impact. The success obviously wouldn't have been possible without our strong partnerships. Very special thank you, obviously, to HP, who's contributed in many ways, but obviously through their HP Life courses, which allows participants to gain access to high quality entrepreneurial training. And it's also a very key part of the actual Be Changemaker program. Beyond just that, there have been over 600 HP employees that have volunteered their time as mentors since the program began. And they offer their guidance, their expertise, their encouragements to help all of these teams on their journey within the BeChangeMaker program. As BeChangeMaker has grown, so has its ecosystem. So in 2024, we were proud to welcome UNESCO-UNEVOC as a partner, and their focus has been mainly on strengthening our alumni network to ensure that the journey of these teams doesn't just end when the program does. We want to continue to interact with these BeChangeMaker teams beyond just the 6 months of the program. So one exciting outcome, obviously, is the BeChangeMaker Youth Festival, with the first instance happening last year in April, and then the second one happening right now. Looking ahead, we've got great things coming in 2026. We're celebrating our 10th year, and we'll also be releasing the BeChangeMaker Impact Report, which has been developed in partnership with HP. The report itself will celebrate the achievements of the 9 global cohorts and the 3 African cohorts that we've had since the beginning of the program in 2017. And it will also outline a strengthened framework to ensure that the program's impact continues to grow sustainably in the years to come. As we're marking this important 10-year milestone, the program's also entering a new chapter. After 10 great years, World Skills International will be transitioning from its role as main partner and will be welcoming in a new partner, YMCA Europe, to take its place. Obviously, YMCA Europe has deep expertise in youth development and engagement, and will be bringing some fresh perspectives and energy that I think will help shape the future of BeChangeMaker. Finally, before we get on with the festival, just want to invite you all to witness the BeChangeMaker 2026 final pitch that'll be taking place in Shanghai as part of World Skills Shanghai 2026 on the 24th of September. So you'll be able to join the experience live via our World Skills International Facebook page. Or if you live in Shanghai, you can come to the actual competition venue and join it there. Yeah, so thank you, and I'm really excited to see what the rest of the program and festival has to give today. And thank you to all our partners. Thanks, Priscilla.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Oliver, for that. And I believe Alexandra would have 1 or 2 words that he wants to say, having joined us. He's the Director of Sponsorship and Partnership at World Skills International. Over to you, Mr. Alexandra.
Well, thank you very much. And sorry, everyone, I had some technical issues with actually connecting to Zoom, and hence I had to get my IT colleagues involved. That's why I'm late. But I joined halfway through our welcome note on behalf of World Skills International, delivered by Oliver, and perfectly summarized in his speech there already. We're very proud to being part of the program BeChangeMaker for over a decade now, having great successes and achievements with over 5,500 applications from around the world, almost 10 iterations, 9 cohorts globally, and 3 on African grounds. So we are very proud, and we wish the program all the success in the future with the 3 parties continuing, HP Live, UNESCO-UNEVOC, as well as YMCA Europe. Obviously, we will continue to follow the program since we love it. Yeah. And as said, we are very convinced that the program will enjoy a very successful route into the future. Thank you very much, and back to you, Priscilla.
Thank you so much. And we want to officially thank World Skills International for conceptualizing this together with HP. And I believe every participant here is thankful for the platform that BeChangeMaker has created for a lot of young people to be able to pitch their social enterprises and, of course, get mentorship and move ahead to launch their businesses and to develop their skills along the way. So thank you so much, World Skills International, for this. And now we are going to hear from our new partner. The new partner is very exciting, very strategic partner as well, and this is YMCA Europe. So YMCA Europe will be joining us going forward in this BeChangeMaker, and I'm very excited to introduce Ms. Diana Belk, who is going to introduce herself, and she's the Communication and Partnership BeChangeMaker lead on this program. Over to you, Diana.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, everybody. It is both an honor and an exciting new chapter for YMCA Europe to step into the role of leading the BeChangeMaker program starting from next year. I want to begin by recognizing WorldSkills, not only for creating this powerful initiative, but also for shaping the global community of young innovators who are turning ideas into impact. And what you have built has inspired thousands, and we are proud to carry this legacy forward. At YMCA, we believe deeply in the power of young people to lead change in their communities. Every day across our network, we see young leaders stepping up with courage, with creativity, and a strong sense of purpose. And BeChangeMaker reflects exactly that spirit. Together with the incredible partners, HP and UNESCO-UNEVOC, we are committed not to just continue this program, but to growing it. We want to expand the opportunities and ensure that even more young people can access the tools, the mentorship, and the confidence they need to succeed. From what I saw so far, it's that what makes BeChangeMaker truly special, it's not only the organizations behind it. Of course, they matter. But it's you, the participants, the dreamers, the doers, and this is your space to experiment, to collaborate, and to turn challenges into solutions that matter. And because it's hard to say what YMCA is all about in such a short time, we have prepared the video so you can get to know us a little bit better. So Max, if you can play it.
Great ideas start with a need. That's how the YMCA started. In 1844. Not in boardrooms, but in communities. Since the beginning, YMCA has done one simple thing. It has seen a need and created a solution. Safe spaces for young people and stronger communities. From the invention of sports like basketball and volleyball to building communities, innovation has always started here. It has always created new ways to move, connect, and play. Today, that same spirit lives on in the YMCA, not just responding to change, but creating it. Across communities, young people are building ideas, launching projects, creating digital hubs, solving real problems. Because entrepreneurship is not just about business. It is about meeting real needs. Millions of people, thousands of communities, one movement, connected by a shared purpose to respond, to innovate, and to create change where it is needed most. And the next need is already here in your community, in your world. The question is not if change is needed. The question is who will create it. See a need, create the solution. Start where you are. Start with YMCA.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Diana, for that introduction, and welcome to YMCA Europe and YMCA Global into the BeChangeMaker fraternity. We're happy to have you, and we look forward to a lot more engagement and opportunities for more young people to engage. So thank you so much for that. And I believe everyone is now happy and feeling welcome. Are you feeling welcome? Back to my audience. Are you feeling welcome already? Yeah, before we move on. My audience are not talking today. Okay, if you're not feeling very welcome, maybe the next topic is going to get you started on this journey. So far we've had the BeChangeMaker is about you, is about you as a person and what you're able to impact in terms of opportunities that you can create, solutions that you're able to solve in your communities, and more importantly, who are you able to influence positively and towards the future of work that we are talking about? So BeChangeMaker is you. Are you a change maker? That is the question I want you to ponder over as we go into the next session. So the next session is going to be very exciting, and this is a session where we look at skills for life as a new success currency. So I know young people, when you hear the word currency,
Priscilla, I think we are not hearing you anymore.
at the Kenyatta University in Kenya.
Hello, Priscilla. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. We lost you a bit, but we are back. We can hear you. So my name is Jackie Sato. I am a lecturer at Kenyatta University, Kenya. Would you kindly repeat your question, Priscilla? I didn't quite get you, lost you for a bit.
Okay, so I also lost audio for a minute. I don't know if you can hear me well now.
Yes, now you're loud and clear. Thank you.
So sorry for that. There's always a technical issue somewhere, but we're going to cover it. Thank you so much, Jackie, for joining us today. And the next speaker is going to be Mr. Stephen Harris, RemDev. He is the World Skills Champion for 2023, and also the graphic designer technology expert at Activate, which is at the United Arab Emirates. Welcome, Mr. Stephen. And lastly,
good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you. And lastly, we're going to hear from Mr. Claudio Kokorosha, who is the Global Sales and Solutions Expansion Lead at HP. And he's also the BeChangeMaker mentor who's been supporting the cohorts of different youths to elevate their skills. Welcome, Mr. Claudio.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Fantastic. So today we want to answer a very critical question. This question is, what skills make youth truly ready for the future of work? And when we talk about currency, as I said, it's always nice to talk about, oh, what skills are the new currency? And this is what we're saying, that life skills are a new currency. So maybe we can hear from you, Jackie, when we talk about skills for life as the new success currency. What do we mean, and why is this important, especially you as an educator who have seen the evolution of skills along the path?
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for the good question. So perhaps I should tell you when I was growing up so that you can guess roughly what age I am. I went to school knowing I'm going to graduate as an education student, get into teaching, and rise up that career ladder. It was very linear. So you get to be a teacher, you go for your degree, you get your master's, you get your PhD, you become a professor, and you stay in a linear kind of career pathway. Right now, especially for the Gen Zs, everything has changed to be very, very innovative. You can start as a teacher and tomorrow become a broadcaster, or the next day you become an entrepreneur. So what you're saying, in this generation, the kind of skills you require are the skills that help you continue learning day by day, continue learning as new innovations come into play. And you need to be quite the critical thinker, because there's a lot of changes happening in the world, and you need to adjust yourself to adapt very easily. There's also the aspect of resilience. Look at what COVID did and how many people lost their income. As a young person, how can you adjust through a disruption and become successful even when the disruption is not very positive? So critical thinking, adaptability, innovativeness and creativity, as well as resilience are becoming very important for the new group. Finally, are you digital savvy? The first time I got my mobile phone, I had to really learn. These days I walk to class and the students impress me with what my phone can do, and I'm still not aware I have those kind of features on my phone. So are you digital savvy beyond knowing how to use a basic computer software? So these are the new skills that are becoming very important for you to succeed in this 21st century. Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving that analysis of what are the key skills that we are calling the new success currency. And maybe just to go to you, Mr. Claudio, you have been a mentor for the BeChangeMaker, and I'm sure you have seen the evolution of skills, especially from young people who come to pitch for this BeChangeMaker competition. And I'm very curious to know what have you observed as the most missing or limited skills among the BeChangeMaker young innovators?
Great question. So I think in general, what I've noticed is an area of skills, for groupment of skills that it's not just something that needs to be built in the startups that I've been working with, and I also the ones that I've seen that I didn't mentor directly through the BeChangeMaker program. But in general, all of us can improve this skill, and it's communication, right? I think that is fundamentally the area that we can all, even the best communicators, have areas of development. So I think that communication in general is something that all the teams I've worked with or seen through the program have areas of improvement. Myself included, I would say. But more specifically, if you look at communication as a groupment of skills, there's one I think in particular, which is a sub skill within communication, which I think is very important and critical, not just for young entrepreneurs who have a startup idea, who want to find investment and sell and basically sell their concept, but in general, with anyone in personal relationships. I would say it's one of the most fundamental communication skills, and that is persuasion. It's considered as I would say, a key sales skill. But in general, persuasion, you're persuading, your ability to persuade can really get you through life's biggest challenges in numerous different contexts. So persuasion is really it's the process of guiding people towards, let's say, adoption of an idea, an attitude, or an action, basically through reasoning, emotion, which is quite important, and conviction. So this in particular, I would say, is the most fundamentally important skill that I would say, most of the teams I've worked with or seen through the Changemaker program would be able to improve.
Fantastic. Persuasion and communication. And it's quite interesting because the last time we had our World Youth Skills Day, young people told us that communication is the most important skill that they really want to develop. So it's very good to hear that you're affirming this. And I want to talk about the future of work, which is very important for HP and any other institution. And we're seeing that dual transition, talking about digital and the green revolution. So how do you see these key skills that we're calling life skills, like you said, communication, persuasion, how do you see it playing into the future of work?
So the future of work, really, it's evolving, right? It's continually changing. We've gone from, I guess, traditionally an in-office, in-person type of, let's say, environment where we're working, to a remote, completely remote, 100% remote or hybrid type environment where you're not connecting physically with individuals. And so I would say that within the future of work, being able to collaborate in any kind of context is key and essential. So I would say in the remote context, it can become very challenging to be able to collaborate properly. And so I guess with, HP is developing, continually helping evolve the future of work in terms of the new technologies that help a remote scenario turn into more of an in-person scenario with technology. So that's obviously very helpful. But in general, the thing that's lacking in the remote environment is this physical, let's say, connection that you can have in an in-person environment, right? And so, although technology can help through certain, let's say, let's say, process or to a certain amount, it's never going to replace physical, let's say, meetings. And as a result, the way you collaborate and how you flex that muscle in terms of a skill of collaborating in the different contexts, be it hybrid, remote, physical, and be able to shift and pivot between the different environments, that's going to be very important, I think, for the future of work.
Fantastic. Really good to hear. And I'm going to welcome the audience to also pop in a question on the chat function. Let's engage a little bit more with the speakers. If you have a specific question you want to ask, please write it down and I'll look at it at some point. I'm just going to use Steve Harris. And you are the best example of this transition because you were just recently a champion of the World Championship, the World Skills Champion. And you are also now an expert in graphics design technology. Very techy, but my question is, how do you balance this very technical skill vis-a-vis what we are calling the transversal life skills that are needed to help you work in your technical world?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Ms. Priscilla, for the wonderful introduction. So firstly, it's truly an honor to be here today, and I would like to thank World Skills International for the BeChangeMaker initiative, and as well as UNESCO-UNEVOC for creating this wonderful platform out there and giving us the opportunity to share our journeys. So my journey with skills itself didn't start in a classroom. It started with a sketchbook, as simple as it could. And as a child, I used to draw every single day and participate in every single competition that I could, and so on. But over time, I realized that the technical skills alone did not get me here. So what really shaped behind uh, that were the life skills behind it. Because when I started, I was just focused at getting better at the work that I do, be it a piece of artwork or a piece of design, practicing, learning softwares, improving your technical skills day by day. But when you enter a competition, not just the World Skills International, it could be even a competition at your local level or a national level. Everything changes because suddenly the questions are all about, it wasn't just about how good your work is, right? It then becomes a matter of fact that can you perform under pressure? Can you handle when things go wrong? Can you keep going when you feel like you're not doing good enough? So I remember during my preparation towards the World Skills International, there were many moments when things didn't work out. Designs failed, time ran out, results weren't what we expected to be. And that's where exactly resilience started building day by day, not giving up, coming back the next day, trying again, getting back to work, getting better at what you do and becoming better than what you were the day before. So this aren't something that you learn, from the technical side of it. So there are certain life skills like resilience, confidence, which need to keep you going every day. And World Skills International is one such competition and platform where all the competitors have to go through this journey of building their resilience and confidence day by day. So yeah, resilience is one such soft skill, main life skill that I would say that all of us need, no matter in which part of career that we are in.
Okay, fantastic. I like that you talk about resilience because that is like one of the bigger umbrella skill that can be applied in different places and different cohorts. And I will come back to you on that. But maybe just going back to you, Jackie, as a senior lecturer. This topic of resilience, we just connect with what Harris is saying. Resilience, critical thinking, they can also be treated as core career skills, not just as personal skills. Why do you think this, and why do they cut across both technical and soft skills as well?
Thank you, Priscilla. That's an excellent question. So if we define the word resilience, it's that ability to still undertake a task or something that you need to complete. Even when you fail, you have the courage to stand up and do it again. If you look at all career paths, you need to have that kind of spine, that kind of backbone to try again until you achieve your goals. So look at Stephen, for instance. He is a techie, but he enjoys drawing, combines those two. Drawing can be challenging, especially when you're learning it on your own, but he still goes on and improves and excels in it. And look what he can do with the two combinations of techie and graphic design. So Stephen is a good evidence of resilience, passion, and the persistence to pursue what he's looking for. And that's an excellent young person who gives us an example of resilience. If you look at school, this curriculum is not changing as fast. However, when you get to the job market, you have to be resilient enough to learn new things and improve while you're at the workplace. So in essence, resilience is not just a skill for particular people, but it has to be everywhere. Let's look at critical thinking. The problems in the world are becoming very interesting to solve because it is through problem solving that you create enterprises that have value and create job opportunities, or for that matter, revenue for you. So HP has been doing a lot in that space. How do you critically use AI, or for that matter, digital skills, tie in with circularity to create solutions that solves problems of waste, for instance? I am in the fashion department. Currently, we have a lot of fashion disposed everywhere, but you can't solve it using just fashion skills. You can't solve it purely by entrepreneurship. You have to tie in some digital skills and have the digital QR codes that will label products. You have to tie in with graphic skills to make sure you can communicate to the different audiences. You have to collaborate across different regions. So all these skills are critical for young people to survive in the 21st century and excel in different environments. Of course, we are global citizens, so we need to collaborate. We need to talk across borders and share our experiences to become very successful in each of our career paths. Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you. Thank you so much for breaking it down. I think it's very clear for everyone to see. And I see that the topic of resilience is very key. There's a question from the audience. So Mr. Odaka Ferdinand has asked two questions, both on resilience. So the first question is, how do you teach emotional resilience to your team when user feedback or failed prototypes feel personal? How do you teach emotional resilience to your team when user feedback or failed prototypes feel personal? So that's the first question. And the second question is as a youth-led social venture, how do you stay resilient when competing against established technical companies or tech companies for attention and resources? So I will maybe Mr. Claudio, you can come in with one of these questions. It's very directed to tech, which HP is.
Sure. So the first question about not taking things personally, emotional, let's say intelligence, let's put it that way, in the context of resilience. These I would say teaching these skills. I mean, maybe Jackie, you have a solution to this, but teaching that is I would say very difficult. These are things. Emotional intelligence in general is something you build through experience and experiences. And I think if you have been through tough situations in life where you've had to basically get through those situations through emotional maturity or resilience, then you begin to build that muscle. So I think, unfortunately, there is no book. I mean, I'm sure there are great books you could read that could help, but I would say the best teacher is experiences in life. And I wanted to also touch upon something else that, I mean, Jackie talked about resilience as, the example of, I'm paraphrasing here, but, life knocks you down, or your professional career knocks you down, you get up and you try again. That is true. That's very important, but it's part of resilience is the other thing that Jackie mentioned earlier, which is adaptability. There's a famous quote, I'm paraphrasing here, where it's saying, if you fail once, then you try again, and you fail again. If you keep doing the same thing, you keep failing, that's called insanity, right? So it's the ability to learn from your mistakes and to pivot, to change, to adapt, right? And oftentimes that means doing something completely different, learning new skills, becoming an expert at something that you don't know anything about, and building those skills. That's a very important part of resilience, because in life, especially with AI, what AI is now completely disrupting so many different kinds of jobs. Imagine you're a data scientist, you've been doing that for 15 years, AI replaces you, you're out of a job. You know, what are you going to do? You've got to learn something new. You've got to adapt and make yourself relevant again. That is a key part of resilience. And again, that also ties into, I would say, the emotional intelligence or maturity side of things. And again, that's built through experience.
Fantastic. Yeah, I like that part. And maybe I can go back to you, Stephen, because the first question really talks about prototypes, which I know you are dealing with a lot of times. At what point do you disconnect this personal feeling when you get feedback and you feel like this person is attacking my feedback, and really being open-minded to feedback, especially in this technical field, which you have to iterate a lot of times?
Yeah, I do relate a lot with the particular question about teaching emotional resilience to your teammates or even your fellow competitors out there. When, let's say, one of your personal work, it could be professional or personal, that when it gets criticized, so how do you handle that? So do you take that personal, or do you have the maturity to take that professionally? So that becomes the question mark. So, quoting from one of my experiences from the work that I do, let's say within graphic design technology skill itself. So, we as graphic designers are responsible for creating a lot of daily life collaterals, let's say from packaging designs to editorial booklets, magazines, and so on. So, when we get too technical about it, let's say sometimes mistakes do happen, because at the end of the day, we are humans and we've got a lot of things to do. And one such day, there was a tiny mistake. Let's say, that was extremely important to be ignored, but it just happened, in one of those design works out there, which is really hard, to kind of get noticed about. And when you point that out and bring that up to the designers or your teammates out there and tell them, okay, this is not working out this way, or we've got to be really careful about it, and there's a lot of criticism out to it, there are two things that could happen. Either the person could take that extremely personal, okay, quoting that, okay, this, my work is getting criticized, I've put in a lot of efforts and so on. But there's the other side of story to it. There's a lot of money that would be invested onto that product, finally going out to the customers in the end. So at the end of the day, any piece of work that we are doing out there, obviously we must do it with perfection and with caution. However, we must understand that it's not you're not doing it for yourself. At least when you're working in an organization, or let's say when you're working for a particular client, at the end of the day, it's for the customers. So that's the end product out there. And obviously, as customers ourselves, we wouldn't expect any kind of mistakes to be noticed in the products that we buy, we consume in our day-to-day life. And if we find those flaws ourselves, we will be the first ones to criticize that, or the team behind that. I can think the same holds good when we are in the position, or let's say when we've got the responsibility of creating a perfect product out there for, let's say, millions of customers involved and so on. So I think the best thing is to not take it too personal and instead look at the bigger purpose behind it. And as Mr. Claudio said, that experiences teach you. It's always fine to commit mistakes in your first try and your second try, but it's also important that you learn from them, move on with the skills that you learn from those criticisms and failures, and not take it too personal. Rather think that it's for the customers at the end of the day. And at one point, we are also the customers, for somebody else out there. So when we expect perfection from something, and if we are in that responsibility of delivering it, we should also ensure that the objectives are met. So yeah, don't take it personal. Just think it's right out there for the customers, for the people out there. You're designing for someone, and yeah, just be professional out there with it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I like that you should take feedback positively because it's supposed to help you become better and really respond to the customer even more efficiently. And maybe we now move to this other very famous topic about learning to learn. And I want to look at you, Jackie, because we're in the education space. This is a new phenomenon that there's so much changing, there's disruption, there's AI, there's so much that we need to learn. And a lot of participants, including ourselves, we need to relearn how to learn. So how can we develop this skill?
Thank you, Priscilla. Just before I answer that, can I chime in a little about resilience? The person who asked the question could be an educator. So Claudio has told you it's a muscle. Stephen has given you his experience. What if you start with small experiments? These entrepreneurs should get to hear no from someone as they get into the entrepreneurship. So perhaps, for example, take the group of entrepreneurs, let them try something, prototype it, and hear the first no. Because what you're really talking about is emotional intelligence. Understanding the no is not attacking you, the person, rather it's just an opinion about your product and service. And as Claudio and Steve have so well put it, you need to build the muscle. It doesn't come easy. It hurts like crazy, but you'll be okay. You will not collapse out of this. You must be strong and resilient. So going back to your question about learning to learn with all these changes, that is actually a very essential skill. Today we had a meeting early in the morning, and one of the questions is the Gen Zs have told us in class they're no longer interested in getting you stand in front of them, lecture, and give them notes. So all lecturers are forced to start thinking about these collaborative skills, working with Gen Zs, and how you're going to teach them in a way that is better for them, and use multimedia to enhance their learning experience. Everybody in the 21st century needs to be a perpetual learner. Learning did not stop after you graduated. Learning does not stop after you've completed school. You need to update yourself with the latest information. How do you do this? Out of curiosity. Pick an area you enjoy, update yourself, join programs like HP Skill Program, learn something new so that you continue enhancing your skills. And as Claudia put it, the disruption in the job market is great. We don't have curricula, but we have a lot of content online. We have a lot of content in different spaces, and we have very good programs. It is actually a self-initiative process to learn. Otherwise, you find out you're left in a century that is no longer applicable, like we are finding out as lecturers. And we all have to go back and learn how to teach using WhatsApp, because that's what our Gen Zs are asking for. Thank you, Priscilla.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That is, I think, an interesting approach to having to really change and evolve with what the times predict. And I'm also very curious to hear maybe from you, Mr. Claudio. I know you are in the HP space, very fast-paced. How do you learn? How do you build this muscle, learning to learn?
Oof. So look, I from my personal, if I speak for myself, I was fortunate enough to take an engineering undergraduate degree, and what that degree gave me wasn't so much technical skills. So I'm a chemical engineer from education. So it wasn't about the skills I learned wasn't so much about, okay, how do I build a petroleum plant, or how do I design a chemical refinery process, whatever it is. That wasn't the point of that degree. It was about how do I learn? How do I learn something very technical, very difficult, and then be able to apply it? In fact, my program wasn't called engineering, it was called applied science, because it's taking the concepts and fundamentals of theory or of an area, which is chemistry, and applying it to the engineering, essentially, applying it for building real life solutions. And so that is something that has stuck with me. And I've had the opportunity of taking this degree and building those skills. And so I think that fundamentally, I would say any education curriculum degree really needs to focus on building the skills of learning. So being able to take theory or take principles and apply it in the real world. And so I would say that that is something that I guess when when I was hired at HP, they looked at my experience, but they also looked at perhaps my background, the various things I did in the past, and realized that perhaps I was a good a good choice because I was able to adapt and learn new things. So I think um, it's it's something that young people need to think about. Choose a path that will position you for the future. So in a way that it's a degree or it's something that teaches you how to, as Jackie said and others said, think critically, problem solve, as opposed to thinking of, okay, I'm just taking a degree to be able to become an expert at something, although that can be important initially in the short term. That expertise can become irrelevant quite quickly. So it's about choosing the right path that allows you to build those skills to learn and to apply what you've learned. I guess that's the best advice I could give.
Mm, fantastic. And I know we are running out of time for this session, but I want to really give everyone like 1 minute each to now summarize the question. So skills for life are the new success currency. So what are the last things? You have already spoken a lot about it, but we always want to summarize and get the key points. So maybe starting with you, Stephen, skills for life are the new success currency. What is your summary of that based on your work?
Yeah, that's true indeed. Not just in terms of money, but in terms of, let's say, the amount of knowledge that you gain through the process, the amount of experiences, the networking, the ups and downs, and the journey that you live through when you basically possess skills and look at it from a positive outlook and implement that in your day-to-day life. I do believe that the new currencies, of life itself. And personally, for me, at least, World Skills International did open a lot of doors and opportunities because once I came after World Skills competition journey itself, I got an opportunity to, let's say, come and work here in the United Arab Emirates government entity called Activate, which was not planned at all. I didn't know anything on the about the company, about the organization, what they do, or even an opportunity to contribute to the TVET sector in UAE itself. But World Skills gave me that opportunity some way, and I think that was the biggest currency that I could afford. But however, just to give you a note, that when I was a World Skills competitor, I was representing my country, India, on the global stage out there. And I never imagined that I would be representing another country, which is United Arab Emirates, as an expert, training their competitors in the future World Skills competitions. And now here I am, ready to uh, take on the World Skills Shanghai 2026 stage in the next coming months. And it's been a long journey of 4 to 5 years being involved with World Skills itself. And it's been a pretty great journey so far. And I truly have to thank all the training process that I've been through and the skills that I've possessed in the journey as well. So thank you, Priscilla. So that would be my short summary for today's session.
Okay, I think what you're saying is involving yourself in as many projects as possible, whether it's World Skills Championship, it's BeChangeMaker, it's entrepreneurship. It's important for you to be able to build this skills set that we're calling the currency for future of work. Okay, that is excellent. Maybe over to you, Jackie. How do you respond to this topic?
I agree with you, Priscilla. Skills for life are the new currency because we are in a wonderful space. So for the young and the not so young like me, if we do not adopt and keep changing with these new changes, we might be left into a century where we are no longer relevant. And it's important for us to remember this is a fantastic time to be alive. Practice on your resilience, learn new things, fail and try again. Work on your critical thinking, creativity, innovation, solve problems around your area. Like Stephen, go into many projects, try entrepreneurship, learn different skill sets that collaborate with different people, learn how to talk and communicate, like Claudio said. And if you combine all these skills, then indeed you will not only get currency in terms of financial, but currency in terms of a support in building a better global scene. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I can't even add anything more. And lastly, Mr. Claudio.
Yeah, so both Jackie and Steve really summed it up great, I would say. I love what Steven said about positive outlook. I think we didn't really talk enough about this, but that is very important because again, life is going to not always go your way, and to continually have a positive outlook in terms of when things go bad and treat it as a learning opportunity, that's going to make a huge difference. And I was thinking, back to there was a question that you had asked that was asked in the QA about we didn't really talk about, which was if I'm a startup, how do I compete against all the big companies who are out there that have all the funding and all that, right? And it goes back to, again, something I want to summarize about the importance of persuasion as a key communication skill, really to focus on, because you could have the best idea in the world, which is definitely would be a success, but if you can't persuade people and to that idea, then it's going to go nowhere. So the best advice I could get for a small startup competing against the big companies is that focus on being able to persuade the right people to then adopt your idea and take it forward. And I think that makes the difference between the startups that are able to make it and the ones that aren't, really, because you might have thousands of great ideas and they all have a chance of actually being a success, but only a handful actually make it. And I think it's those people who are smart about talking to the right people and being able to persuade them. So again, focus on persuasion and positivity and taking challenges with a very, very positive outlook and as a learning experience.
Thank you so much. And we're also very interested to hear from you, the audience. So after listening to this, you now understand what is a success currency. And with currency, you either have it or you don't have. And sometimes you have to now build this opportunity for you to learn and gain this currency. So based on what we've had, we want to hear, as the panelists, we want to check on this chat function and see which of the skills do you possess that you feel that you need to work on. Which skill, which is a life skill, do you feel that you need to build on for you to reach this success currency? I'll be checking because we want to see as the panelists so that Jackie and Mr. Claudio can take this back home where they can start emphasizing more on these missing skills. Which are the missing skills that you want to work on for you to build this new success currency? Type in on this chat. Is it communication? Is it persuasion? Is it resilience? Is it graphics? What exactly do you want to build? What do you feel you need to build? Okay, we have confidence as the first contender. I only have 1 minute for this, so don't be left behind. So let's see who else. Okay, adaptability. Someone says, I want to choose all. Which ones? Type them. Yeah. Patience with Gen Alpha. I don't know how we can help you with that. Communication, multitasking. Oh, digital. Passion. Wow. Okay. Communication again. Innovation. Consistency. Okay. I see there's more questions that are coming in. We are going to have the panelists answer your questions out of after this session. So if you have any question, you can keep asking because I'm closing now. People skills, okay. innovation again, diverse skill enthusiasm, okay. Global collaboration, communication comes again. Okay. I think the panelists can get a good overview of what the participants want to build on, and we can take this and continue to build on it. So there's curiosity as well, and interpersonal, creativity. Okay, I think that is fantastic. Keep sending the question in. Remember, this is your day. This is the BeChangeMaker Youth Festival. You get to ask the questions, and we have the experts for you to respond even after this session. So allow me to really thank, and please help me to thank this fantastic panelist, Mr. Stephen Harris from UAE. We have Jackie Kisato from Kenya, and Mr. Claudio is joining us from, I think it's Germany. Switzerland, yes. So you can see the diversity of our panelists. Please, round of applause from your corner or react and say, thank you so much, our panelists, for providing us with these ideas and, of course, things we can work on developing our new success currency. Thank you so much. And we're now going to really go to the next discussion. Please stay in. The panelists, you can continue to respond to these questions on the chat so that we ensure that all the participants are happy with this opportunity to moderate. So BeChangeMaker is about young people. Where are the young people? So the next session is going to be very interesting, where we get to hear from some of the winners of last year's BeChangeMaker competition, who are going to tell us about their social enterprises, what is it about, and of course tell us what they've been up to. So I'm very pleased to introduce our next panel, which is not going to be more of a panel, it's more of a discussion. So very excited, and I see you're already joining here. So let's start with the first, the winner for last year. So this was a group called Glovatrix. It had two very promising founders, and Glovatrix, and they can now be seen, yes. So we have Mr. Rudra Gode, and we have Aishawara. I hope I pronounced very well. These are the two fantastic young people who are the winners of last year's BeChangeMaker. And their program was about AI-powered sign language interpretation. So I'm very happy to welcome you here. Tell us more about your work, and then we can get back to the discussion later. So over to you. You can introduce yourself and the titles that you hold, and then we can go straight to the pitch of what won last year's BeChangeMaker.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Priscilla. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me just share my screen and introduce myself while we're still presenting. So, is it audible?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So, my name is Aishwarya, and I'm the founder of Glovatrix. And let me tell you.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, was that uncomfortable? Just 10 seconds of silence and you felt left out? Now imagine what 466 million deaf people globally feel like every day. For them, this isn't a glitch, it's a constant feeling of exclusion from conversations, opportunities, and dignity. And that's exactly what we aim to change at Glovatrix. So, this is my deaf aunt Disha. When her 3-year-old child had a medical emergency, she was unable to hear his cries. And later, when she rushed him to the hospital, terrified, full of guilt, and tried to explain what happened in sign language. But the doctor didn't understand. And with every extra second it took for her to be understood, the baby's pain increased. And this broke her completely. So that's when I realized that this isn't just her problem, it's a systematic failure. Because most of the world does not understand sign language. And today the only bridge is a human interpreter who is expensive, scarce, and not available when you need it the most. So And this basically affects every aspect of the deaf person's life in classrooms, workplaces, hospitals, family, and social life. So that night, I sketched the first version of what became Fifth Sense, a wearable AI powered glove that translates sign language into voice in real time. So let me show you.
My child has stomach pain.
So this is what Disha would have been able to see in the hospital. But communication is two-way.
He will be okay, but he needs surgery.
So we added Mira, which is a real-time AI avatar that translates speech and text into sign language. And lastly, it also detects background sounds and gives a vibrational alert, like doorbell or baby crying. So this isn't just a translation, it's a complete communication system. And this was co-created with hundreds of deaf users in alignment with their wants and needs. We have conducted 18 pilot programs that have converted into purchase orders and real impact on the ground. And in fact, this pilot program was so successful that they issued a corporate mandate to hire 10 deaf people in every outlet across 110 outlets. So that means 1,000 jobs unlocked and 1,000 gloves in demand. And now more organizations like Punjabi University and Bosch have joined in. One of the most defining moments in our journey was meeting the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Modi ji, and I told him, sir, in Hindi I said, sir, your thoughts are not being able to reach 7 crore deaf people. And 2 days later, I got a call from the PMO office, and Mira was then used to translate his speech live at the India AI Impact Summit. So this isn't just validation, it is adoption from ground level to the national stage. Globally, there are 466 million deaf people according to WHO, while in India, there are 68 million deaf people, of which roughly 1 million are employed in corporate jobs in 7,000 organizations. And we enter the market via B2B, working with these organizations and selling Fifth Sense to them as a workplace communications tool. And we enter by scaling through top 5 training and placement agencies that already have a user base. So by embedding Fifth Sense directly into the workforce, every deaf hire comes with a pre-enabled device to communicate, making Fifth Sense a standard tool purchased with every placement. From here, we expand internationally and into adjacent markets like healthcare, education, public services, and eventually launch a B2C to globally reach 1 million users by 2030, which is still just 0.2% of the global population. Our team combines lived experience of deaf people and deep tech expertise. And along the way, we got many national and international awards like the UN, BeChangeMaker, etc. But more important to us is the impact that we are creating, from childhood friendships to graduating with pride, from landing the job to excelling it, from wedding vows to healing after heartbreak, from private talks with your doctor to making an active choice in your child's education, from winning medals to delivering your truth on the world stage. Fifth Sense gives sign language a voice and every deaf person the power to be heard. And one day I promise you that a very talented deaf entrepreneur will be pitching for BeChangeMaker in sign language while Fifth Sense does the translation. That's the world we are working to create, in the one in which everyone is empowered. Thank you so much.
Wow, that is sensational. And allow me to congratulate this team. We are going to welcome you back in another short discussion. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think everybody is wowed by what you have been able to achieve, and this solution is impactful. And I cannot even emphasize more what it actually means to the global community to have this as a solution in the world. Thank you so much. And we're going to hear next from another winner. She was in a team that were number 3 last year. So last year we had like very fantastic offering, and this is a program on paper pods. So I'm happy to introduce Miss Tanya Kalista. She's coming all the way from Indonesia, and she created something very impactful, creating seed embedded paper from waste crafted by the retired Balinese women. So very exciting, and I will be very interested to learn more. Over to you, Tanya.
Hi, Priscilla, and hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Excited to share more about paper pots and the impact that we're making. So I'm going to share my screen. Kindly let me know if it's visible already.
Yes.
Okay, so hi, everyone. I'm Tanya from Paper Pots. We are from Indonesia, and I also have my colleague Ivana with me here. We are recycling paper to make new life from paper waste. So we have 3 pillars, which is recycling, replanting, and also empowering. Why paper? Because in my country, Indonesia, it's actually often known as one of the world's lungs. We have so many rainforests, but it is actually disappearing. In fact, 5 times more forest is cleared due to paper production, and there's an increase in the demand of pulp and also paper production. With this, actually businesses plays a big role because 50% of paper waste comes from building business operations. And then they also have the growing pressure to meet ESG goals. So we see that businesses is a problem, but they can actually also can be part of the solution. So we think that what if now their paper waste can even become their tools to fulfill ESG goals? Most solutions will stop at recycling, but recycling alone is actually not enough. Our paper product is made of embedded seeds so that after use, it can be planted and then growing back into nature. Like this. How we do it? We also have Dropbox at the office who collects paper waste from corporates, and then our trained women artisan will recycle it, and then the result is a plantable paper like this, which is made to replace any kind of single-use paper that businesses might use. Notebook, name cards, packagings, and also printed materials. And then it's given to the customer, partners, clients who can then plan it anywhere at home, even like from elderly until like kids even can plan it. So it will do something like this. Ta-da! So this paper that can grow into plants can be replaced for any kind of single-use paper like this. This is one of our products examples. And with the support of BeChangeMaker, we are not only producing paper, we also have a collection box system, which is in subscription, so that corporates can now drop their paper waste to this box that we brand them. For example, this is the National Bank of Indonesia. This is something that we pilot through the BeChangeMaker program and has been seeing much impact through it. As an example, we also pilot with other partners, and in a total, we can impact 350 employees and tenants and collected 1 ton of paper waste, which equals to saving 17 trees. We're excited to share that the impact keeps growing after the BeChangeMaker, and one of our client, the National Bank of Indonesia's the CEO of the National Bank of Indonesia, said that it can be replicated in the other 200 bank branches across Indonesia. So our clients, not only banks, but also corporates, NGOs, school, and any kind of companies that actually use paper. We are also happy to share that we are the 3rd global winner at BeChangeMaker Croatia, and it has been a very life-changing experience that probably we'll share later in the question and answer. But for now, I think I just want to share that this has been something that is very eye-opening because that is the time that we are not only in the Indonesia, but we also learn from other teams, countries, and really open our mindset as an entrepreneur. And also we have amazing mentors from HP. This we do like weekly mentoring and all, and it has been very changing our pitch deck, the way we tell our story, the way we sell, and we gain like another 10 partners after the BeChangeMaker. So yeah, we are excited to keep growing because not only to nature, all the paper is made by senior women that is retired in Indonesia because out of 10 women aged 60 plus do not receive a pension. So with paper pots, we want to make additional income from them, additional sense of belonging and sense of purpose. So join us in giving a new hope to nature and to women. I'm Tanya from Paper Pots. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Excellent presentation, and believe me, participants can actually see what BeChangeMaker is all about. These are not just pitches, but they are actually businesses that are going on. They are actually making a living. So allow me to welcome back the other two founders from Glovertrix. Yes. And really excellent work. First of all, congratulations so much. I can see the comments coming in and everyone is like, wow, wow, wow. So this BeChangeMaker is not a joke. And thank you for making it look very posh, because this is what BeChangeMaker is about. It's about creating solutions for the problems that we face globally. And we cannot even emphasize how many problems we have. There's so much that young people can put their hands on, and we can start seeing changes. So let's first of all hear, because I'm very impressed, I'm very happy. I'm very excited about speaking to young people. And maybe let's start with you, Aishwara. What exactly would you say is the most important skill that you possess that has allowed you to innovate and really lead the work that you're doing at Glovertrix?
So, like every entrepreneur, they should have leadership skills and communication skills and people skills. But more important than that, I feel, I'm not sure if it counts as a skill or an attribute, is the grit. Grit is the ability to keep going even in the case where you fail, when there are constant rejections one after the other, but your belief is so strong that you keep going. So as an entrepreneur, I am very proud and I'm very happy to have won the BeChangeMaker program. But before that win, there were hundreds of rejections wherein we didn't even clear the first round. And it's only when you keep going and keep going and don't let that rejection kind of demotivate you, when you build that thick skin and you keep going, that's when an entrepreneur is truly born, when you jump off the cliff and hope to build a plane on the way down.
Fantastic. They're great. I like that a lot. And do you agree, maybe Rudra, what do you think is the most important skill for you?
No doubt in that. Just sorry for that. No doubt that is one of the important skills. And if I have to personally tell, I think it would be on the lines of people skills or people management, right? Because in all the uh, in my experience and the journey, I've believed that no meaningful idea gets built alone. So, at some point, your growth becomes directly proportional to how well you can work with and lead people. So, and even like for the young members who have joined right now, they will be in their early days of building something. So, especially in the early days, when you're starting and you're young, it's all about convincing people to believe in something that doesn't exist yet, right? Your co-founders, your first team, or your early users, because you don't have a brand, you don't have money, you don't have proof. The only thing that at least I had back in the days when we started was the ability to communicate and build trust with the people. So, yeah, so getting different people, and with different skills and incentives and move them in the same direction with as low friction as possible, is what I feel can be a very important skill that all the young people can cultivate in themselves at this point of time in their life.
Fantastic. And I think both of you, with your work on Glovatrix, you have touched on a big topic that we work on inclusion. This is ensuring that everybody is included, whether they come from a different background, they have different abilities, or they have different circumstances, that they are included into the economic development. And I see what you have done in this contribution. So congratulations on that. And maybe moving on to the other presenter, Pepper Pods, you also touch on one topic that we are very passionate about, which is about greening and sustainability. So what would you say is the most important skill that has enabled you to really run this company? Tanya.
Okay, thanks for the question, Priscilla. I think from my experience, what really impactful for me is leadership, in which leadership first, it comes from self-leadership. So knowing what I want as a person first, what my vision is, what are the person I want to be in the future, and translating my passion and my purpose into the business. I think that makes the business something that keeps me going, keep me motivated. Like Aiswara said, there are a lot of rejection and all, but if when I know like my purpose and my passion, it really keeps me going and going and going. So that's first, like having a self-leadership and a vision. And then second is knowing how to manage a team on leadership. For me, I'm like servant leadership, so I like to be there for my team from the ground zero and really doing all the groundwork, not just like being bossy. And then third, I think the leadership is also useful to not only lead us and our team, but also the stakeholders. For context, I'm starting this company when like I am 24, and the people that I lead, like the partners, like for example, the banks is like they are double my age. The CEO of banks and everything, everyone, every stakeholders and decision maker is just like double my age. So that makes me learn how to lead them, and despite my age and my lack of experience, of course, but to learn, to continuously learn, and to be humble enough to know like which part that we still need to learn to improve and to continue.
Fantastic. I like that, and I can see the passion in your faces when you speak. So very, very commendable. And I know you are the generation that the previous panelists were talking about, that you have come to create new methodologies, and AI has been a key aspect for the work that you do. But I'm curious to know, do you ever use AI to connect with other life skills? And how can you really give examples of how you use AI to enhance the skills that we were speaking about, the transversal skills? Maybe to you, Rudra, any ideas?
Yeah, interesting. So, first of all, AI, right now, if we talk about AI, people think AI is everything. For me personally, I believe that AI is a tool, and the value of that tool depends on how well the person uses it, right? Now, specifically, if we take the example of Glovatrix, our startup, it's an AI product, right? So we are using AI, we are relying on AI, and our whole product is an AI based gloves and AI based avatar. So we use AI very intentionally, right? Now, if you talk about examples, on day-to-day basis, AI helps us a lot to generate ideas and helps us to draft them on a better speed. But the final layer is always a human, because AI still doesn't understand the ground reality or emotions of, let's say, for example, we are working with deaf people, right? Now, it is not possible for AI to understand the on ground realities, problems of deaf people. The culture of deaf people is so vast, so we always require that human insight. But of course, AI gives us a scale, to design the whole thing. So I I believe AI accelerates the development and testing that we do on a day-to-day basis. The one thing that I can definitely add here, for the young members is, I can address this point. AI, I believe that should enhance your thinking and not replace it, right? So, what I have always believed is, like, in the beginning of your, learning phase or building phase, if you rely too much on AI, it might replace, or your ability of thinking or judgment might vanish. So I think all of you should be, the ones who are not just using AI, but the ones who know what to ask the AI, what to accept, and what to reject. I think that is what will make the difference.
Mm. Fantastic. I like that, and I don't want to even dwell more on that. You have made it very well that AI is not supposed to replace your ability to critically think and solve solutions. So I want to have a chance to answer one question from the audience, and it says, if a TVET student today wants to innovate for maybe climate or inclusion, what is the first step you'd recommend? Since you are innovators, what is the first step you would recommend to someone who really wants to start on innovating these kind of solutions that you have come up with? Top of your mind, what do you think would be the first step?
Um, I think the first step would be to talk to the users or talk to the potential customers and understand what the problem is in depth. Most people build a hammer and then they start looking for a nail. So instead of jumping on a solution, understand the problem really, really well. And that's where the magic lies, is what I feel.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Tanya, do you want to weigh in as well?
Yes, I think starting from the problem, I really agree with Aiswarya. The next step, like I would do if I were like in the position of a young innovator, what I would do is just be brave enough to start. Start somewhere, start anywhere, even if it's not perfect, even if you don't know anything, because usually we think that we can only start when we are perfect, when we have completed our master degree or PhD, but actually we can definitely start now with the limited resource you have. Just start first, and then you will fail, yes, like the other panelists have said, but it's okay to fail because it's a learning, it's an opportunity. It makes us see like what is the problem, and then be better from that. Fail again, fail better until you succeed.
Lovely, lovely. I can't say anymore. And I know we are running out of time, but I want to give both teams the opportunity to tell us what next. What is the ask? We have in the audience customers, people who are in policy, people who are young people. What is the next step for you? What is the ask that you're asking the audience today? Maybe we start with the Glovotex.
So when I joined BeChangeMaker program sometime in June, July last year, the finals were in October. So at that time, we were kind of pretty sure that our concept works. We had done about a couple of pilot programs, but since then we have progressed quite a lot. We are sure that this works, and now is the time where we are scaling up. We have, back in October, Mira was just a concept, the second way of communication, the avatar that translates voices to sign language. But um, over time, that has taken a real shape, and we were able to translate the Prime Minister's speech. So, over the next 5 years, we aim to impact 1 million lives of deaf people, and our aim is to make accessibility and deaf inclusion a default, not an exception. Like Google Translate is a default, we want our solutions to be a default where before hiring a deaf people,
Did we lose her?
structure should be the default.
Okay. Okay, we lost you for a minute, but I think we understood what you say. And congratulations, and looking forward to seeing more partnerships. And I'm pretty sure people can reach you directly to support this movement. Over to you, Tanya. What is your ask? What is the next move for you?
So for paper pots, we are aiming to scale it by implementing this circular solution to more corporates that focus on ESG goals, and also corporates that have offices and papers in their daily life. So with that, like for example, after the BeChangeMaker, we are also getting connected to the global HP team. We presented to the all employee meetings to like 100 or 200 employees. So it has been a good experience for us to get connected like to real corporates, to the users. So something like that, it's something that can be helpful for us because we want to impact more businesses to engage with us. And that also means we'll be empowering more senior women, more retired women for more purpose and income.
Fantastic. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in applauding these two fantastic innovators for two teams that have actually shaken our thought process and impacted us in a way that we will not forget in a long while. So congratulations. You can see all the love that is coming. Congratulations to you for leading this and really being the BeChangeMaker champions that we can emulate and look at. Thank you so much, and please stay tuned. There's some additional questions that you can look into and just try to respond. Thank you so much, Ashwara, Rudra, and Tanya. Thank you so much. And for the audience who are still here, let's do some warm up. And we're going to do the Mentimeter that is coming up. Allow me to welcome my colleague, Ms. Lenny Martini, to take us through this next process as we get together and continue to develop this toolkit for skills. Over to you, Lenny.
Thank you very much, Priscilla, and thank you also for the amazing panelists and the first panel, and also these phenomenal presentations from our BeChangeMaker winners. It was really insightful to see how the young people can build really real solution for the problems that we see globally. Now, I hope that you are inspired enough to contribute to this life skills mapping exercise that we will do through the Mentimeter. Now, let me just quickly share my screen. Yes. Could you please let me know if this is, if you can see it? Yes? Great. So yes, we talk a lot about these life skills, and I would now invite you all to build collective picture of the skills that matter most across different contexts, sectors, and life realities. I think the panelists and also the BeChangeMaker winners mentioned some of those already. Even Priscilla also asked you to write in the chat. But now we would like you to group it into 4 competencies. So we will talk about resilience, the capacity to cope with setbacks, uncertainty, and exclusion. I think Jackie talked a lot about this also in the first panel. And we also would like to ask you about the skills under entrepreneurial intent, which we define as the confidence and the capability to create one's own economic pathways when formal employment is unavailable. Next is the set for employability. These are skills, practical transferable skills that make young people competitive in the job market. And the last is agility, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances and labor markets. Please join us through Mentimeters. You can please click the menti.com and use the code. Or I can also share the QR code that you can easily scan with your phone and join us to answer the next question. Okay. So let's go to the first question. We will ask you, which transversal skills do you think are essential to build resilience? Please think about skills that help us recover from failure, navigate uncertainty, or persist despite challenges. Let's just submit 1 to 2 skills via Mentimeter. I will also invite the panelists also to write their answers. Yes. Communication, grit, and yes. Adaptability. Please still write your answer. I will give you another 1 minute for this. Problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, real learning. We discussed this a lot on the first panel. Resilience, the ability to bounce back after. I think Jackie also talked about how we rebuilt all the things after the COVID pandemic. Okay. Yes, please still responding to this question. We'll still have 30 seconds. Empowering, working in group, curiosity. Yes, it's coming along. I see adaptability and communication as the biggest word there. That means people are submitting similar answers. Yes, time is up. Now let's go to the second question. Thank you for your answers. So which transversal skills are essential to build entrepreneurial intent? Let us think about the mindset as much as the action. Skills that enable young people to imagine possibilities, take initiative, and create pathways. I think we heard a lot from Glovatrix and Pepper Potts this morning. Critical thinking. What else? Digital skills. Yes, we need to be digital savvy enough to operate with the everything that we have on our smartphones with AI, interpersonal skills, industrial skills. Yes. I will start the timer and give another 1 minute. Leadership, teamwork, creativity, open to change. Attitude is very important for entrepreneurial. Commitment and self-trust. Okay. See more and more answers on critical thinking. Okay. Innovation. Yes, innovation. Leadership skills. I think Tanya mentioned about leadership and servant leadership that she implements for Pepper Pots. Okay, now time is up. Let's go to the third groups on transversal skills that are essential to improve employability. Think about skills that are transferable across jobs, sectors, and even countries, because we will be the global citizens. We will work maybe in other countries and other continents, skills that help young people to stay relevant in changing labor markets. You see, communication. Yes. Claudio mentioned a lot about communication in the first panel. Language, yes, multicultural, digital skills. I think with many assistive technologies that now we can learn really easy other languages, not easy, but there are tools to help young people and even us to learn new languages to stay relevant. Okay. Self-motivation, time management, yes. Cultural sensitivity. Okay. Please still submitting your answer. Self-motivation, team working. Lifelong learning, collaboration, and problem solving, of course. Okay. Those are skill sets for employability. Now, Let's move to, wait. I will give more time for employability and internship. I saw a comment about internship earlier in the chat, which is now we need to rethink how to do internship to attract and young people. Okay, now we go to the last group of competency. This is the agility. Which transversal skills do you think are essential to build agility? It's about responding to change, technological, social, economic, or environmental. What skills that you think help people to adapt, learn, and pivot when needed? Being flexible. So you see, again, resilient. Critical thinking. Self well-being. Systems thinking. Fearless. I remember that someone mentioned earlier that we need to have the courage to thrive on disruptions, on uncertainties. Self-awareness. Keep learning new skills. Be a lifelong learner. Openness. Yes, open to new experience. These are very good coming from young people. We can learn a lot from them. Yes. And let's see. Okay, I will give another 1 minute for this question because this is the last skills cat that we ask. Okay, growth mindset, growth mindsets. Anti-procrastination. Okay, interesting, interesting. Yes, experience life as it is and be fearless. Engagement. Okay. Okay, then thank you so much for your contribution on this Mentimeter. What we see on the screen is a collective skills map shaped by diverse experience and realities. You read that many of these skills appear across multiple areas. It shows how interconnected resilience, employability, entrepreneurship, and agility really are. So thank you very much, audience and panelists, for shaping this conversation. We do hope that in our role now as students, as educators, policymakers, and other roles, changemaker, we could be lifelong learners building what I remember Claudia earlier said as the muscles, learning these skill sets to navigate complexity, uncertainty, and opportunity. So we will carry these insights forward into our next discussions on policy, partnerships, and pathways, asking how systems can better recognize, nurture, and scale these life skills. I will now end my presentation, and these skill sets later will be available on our webpage. Now we will move on into the next panel, but before I would like to check if all speakers are here. Okay, this is good. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now I will be continuing with the last session of today. We had amazing session in the beginning with Priscilla, and then also the session on BeChangeMaker winners. Now we will end with this last session titled Scaling Skills for Life, Policy, Partnership, and Pathways. It is great to see so many changemakers, practitioners, and partners coming together for the BeChangeMaker Youth Festival today. And across this festival, we've heard powerful stories, and now we will zoom out and ask a critical question. How do we scale skills for life so that youth innovation can move from promising ideas to lasting social impact. We heard the experience of Glovatrix and Pepper Pods. Now we will hear from our experts. We will explore this through three lenses: effective partnerships, policy challenges, and practical pathways and opportunities. I am delighted now to introduce our panelists. We have Mr. Marco Schwertel, Director of Government Affairs and Public Policy at HP, is bringing a strong private sector and policy perspective on skills and innovation. And we also have Ms. Jessica Woitala, Manager for Public and Private Funding at YMCA Europe, representing one of the largest youth networks translating skills into community-driven action. And we have my colleague Claudia Pompa, Program Specialist at UNESCO. She's working on youth literacy and skills development and the Global Skills Tracker. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you. Can we check your microphone first? Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for having us today.
Great. So now let's begin with the first theme on partnership, which are often the backbone of scaling youth initiatives. I have the first question to Marcus. So HP has long been involved in building future-ready skills, including through initiatives like HP Live and BeChangeMaker. Now, I would like to ask, how is HP supporting youth innovation and creating pathways to scale youth-led social enterprise? Over to you, Marcus.
Thank you so much. And I think what large multinational companies are really good at is thinking at large. And I mentioned earlier that we have this goal to accelerate digital equity for 150 million people by 2030, which is an impressive number. But you can only reach an impressive number one individual at a time. And I think this is something where the secret source of successful engagement lies, and this is through partnerships. A company like HP could never do that alone, because what are companies for? Companies are for of making their aim is making money. A company sells products, so therefore this doing these things for skills building is good for the economy, and with that, when the economy is doing good, it's good for business. So, but what could we do as a large multinational company on our own? Nothing. It is really the identifying the right partners, working with partners together at large scale programs to then make sure that lots of people benefit. What we're doing with BeChangeMaker, on the one side, is certainly reaching lots of people, but then with employee volunteering, helping individuals. And at the end of the day, it's bringing this all together and making sure that we have large numbers of people reached, but every individual counts. And that is why it's always difficult when people from outside say, oh, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? We could do a gazillion things, and we receive so many requests every single day, and that is why we have to focus for success. And that is why these partnerships, like the one with UNESCO-UNEVOC, the YMCA, and WorldSkills, is such an important way of doing that. So again, a company cannot do it alone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to hear, I think Oliver mentioned that even more than 500 HP employees were involved in the mentorship for the BeChangeMaker. That's a really amazing numbers looking at the involvement of HP. So now digging deeper on that, from your experience, what partnership models work best when the goal is not just piloting project, but also to scaling them sustainably?
If we are recording, we might, because so I have to be careful when I say I hate pilot projects, because pilot projects are frequently an excuse for then doing the next pilot project and maybe the next. And I think this is terrible. I really appreciate having a proof of concept saying, okay, this is working. Now we know that this is working, which means, and now scale it fast and everywhere. That is a very different mindset of thinking instead of adding one pilot to another and forgetting the cabin crew. So it's really about making impactful concepts work, and when they work, let's go with it and make it happen. Now, what does work, in my observation, is one very, very simple recipe, and that is bring a network of partners together in a multi-stakeholder ecosystem. And these partners should not depend on each other in this ecosystem, but each and every partner should be doing what they would be doing perhaps anyway, but by doing it together, really multiplying the impact big time. And this is what we have seen. And this is what we as HP are really proud of, how we can bring with mutual convening platforms. So it's not about a company, it's not about a partner, it's about finding the right convening platforms and bringing an ecosystem of players together. And the multiplied effect of that is huge. And with that, I think this is, yeah, as I said, the recipe for a successful partnership.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marcus, for the answers. Yes, it is important for us to scale up and not only tick the box on the pilot projects, but to make it really impactful, yeah, for the society. Thank you, Marcus. Now I will go to Jessica from YMCA. So many of us, the audience, we have seen the video screen during the opening session, which I think very powerful, highlighting how youth skills, when combined with purpose, it's the need and community support, can lead to real and lasting change. I think the video reminds us that scaling skills is not only about training, but about creating ecosystem where young people can turn ideas into impactful action. Now, building on that message, I would like to ask Jessica, how is YMCA Europe translating youth skills into concrete community solutions?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, I think the video really does highlight quite well a little bit the core and mission of the YMCA, and I think that's always very interesting to, in a way, look at that history and also the geographic spread. At the end of the day, the YMCA is a grassroots organization based in many communities across Europe and also across the world. They all look a little bit different. That's why sometimes it's hard to explain what does the YMCA do, because all of that innovation and all that is coming from community need. And so what the YMCA really, I think, excels in is one, that the scale and that reach and being able to connect young people across different regions and location, but really giving young people a space to come to and kind of say, this is the need that I'm seeing in my community, or this is the way that I want to develop. This is my life plan or something that I'm passionate with. How can I get help? How can I have a space to learn the skills and resources and make connections? So the YMCA first provides that space, that tools, but then we also, I think is quite unique, is giving young people the space and the trust to act. So I think oftentimes young people, sometimes people think, oh, young people, they're young, they don't know, only until they experience something. But we allow young people to first try themselves. And so we do that by building various life skills. I think communication was being brought up, the ecosystem, partnership. So they have a space to try that out, to experiment, to fail, to try again, to succeed. And so we've done that in many different ways. And I think that's also why the organization has been around for over 180 years and has evolved into different community spaces. And at that heart is that young person's innovation to say, hey, I want to do something different. Can we try that? And then the YMCA providing that tools, resources, and spaces. And we have some really great examples through our partnership with HP, with digital hubs. We have our leadership programs. We have different ways that young people are getting connected with career pathways and starting different ideas with each other and with other community members.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we all really appreciate how YMCA provides space and give trust and also allow young people to be wrong, to learn from their mistakes and just build resilience on their own to rebuild and try again. It is very nice. And now that we are transitioning, I think someone in the opening remarks mentioned that we are transitioning into partnering with YMCA for the BeChangeMaker. I would like to ask the question of why is partnering with initiatives like BeChangeMaker strategic for achieving YMCA's broader impact goals?
Yeah, no, we were again delighted to be asked, and we so appreciate all the work that has gone before us in these last 10 years, especially with World Skills and HP and UNEVOC and all of the people involved. And so we're really excited to continue on this legacy and continue to have new additions and make it bigger and better. And as Marcus says, if something works, why not go bigger, bolder everywhere? So we're looking forward to that. But for us, it was definitely a good partnership. And, again, reiterating what Marcus is saying with the ecosystem, we're already in this space, we're already doing something. So it's complementary, and it allows us to really form that bridge with our local grassroots, young people experimenting, creating solutions, and connecting them with a scalable global framework and with more resources, with mentorship, and also young people across the globe to share ideas and get inspiration and connect. As we know, a lot of our issues that are happening maybe in one place are also affecting another place. So solutions can be scaled or shared between one another. So we really felt that really aligned. We also felt that with the BeChangeMaker aspect, that it really would allow our young people to move from idea into action and into sustainable solutions. So using the social enterprise mindset and really those different aspects to it. Ooh, sorry, just getting a little feedback here. 1 second. Yes, so that's one of the main reasons why we were feeling that this was a great strategic partnership to continue on, that it fits both. It's a win-win for both BeChangeMaker and the YMCA and allowing to connect young people. Thank you.
Thank you, and we are warmly welcome you to the partnership. I really like the idea of diversity here because I think Marcus mentioned about the multi-stakeholders, like how different partners contribute different things and being independent on themselves and doing this. And also on YMCA, speaking about the really variety of needs and solution from young people from different regions and part of the world. So now we will be moving into the policy challenges. We already hear how partnership work best when they combine with resources and trust and clear pathways for young people to grow beyond the pilot stage. Now we will discuss about policy environment, which can either accelerate or slow down skills development. This is a challenge that is faced by young people who would like to move with their ideas or with their policy hindering them from doing that. Now, a question again to Marcus. As a government affair expert, what policy challenges do you think currently hinder fast-tracking skills training for the future of work, particularly for young people and social entrepreneurs?
There's this big elephant in the room when it comes to education, and that is everyone says that it's important and it's our future and it's the future of every country and what have you. But we should put the money where our mouth is, which means education needs investment, and investment means budgets. And now I'm not talking about charity. I'm talking about having appropriate funding in government budgets for paying for educational, not programs, but for education. And I think this is the basic issue. In an ideal world, we would not need to have NGOs or foundations that support education programming because societies should have organized that in a sustainable way that it does not need a fixing and a band-aid here, a band-aid there. Unfortunately, there are not that many countries in the world who give that priority to the education of their youth. And I have to admit, I don't understand why, because so we have money for so many different things, where I would say, okay, if that is a higher priority than education, I don't get it. So that makes it interesting working in the government affairs world, because over there we are talking to governments about all the different priorities, and in my role, looking after policies when it comes to education or digital equity, social impact topics. It is it is really difficult to get through, because when you turn to politicians, they will all tell you that education is a priority. But then let me ask, what does priority mean when you don't put the budgets behind it? So therefore, the biggest challenge is not the willingness, it's not the intent. It is about how can we structurally make it possible that education gets the right funding and support that we claim that it deserves. So if we say that, how can we make that happen? And for me, this is not the role of a company to tell a government. That's not that they have to do. I think this is something we all as citizens should look at, to the people who either represent or govern us in whatever form, to make them aware of their accountability. And again, I I don't have an answer to your questions because I don't get it myself.
Thank you, Marcus. But this is really an important, as you said, it's elephant in the room. It carries a very strong message to invest in education. And now, as we might not speaking to policymakers, but we are speaking to future policymakers, young people here who are 10 and join us today. There will be the future policymakers, and I do hope that they stick to your message on investing in education in their future role. So thank you, Marcus. Now I will move on to Claudia. Oh, but before, I will just ask the audience, if you have any questions for the panelists, please put your question in the Q&A or in the chat. We will try to accommodate later if time allows. So to Claudia, we know that UNESCO works closely now with labor market intelligence and skills data through tools like the Global Skills Tracker. So please kindly enlighten us, what key insights does the Global Skills Tracker provide, and who stands to benefit most from this data? Over to you.
Thank you, Lenny, and thank you to you, to Priscilla, to Frederick, and the rest of the UNEVOC team for inviting me. Always great to hear Marcus talk and being so insightful and providing such very clear thinking on these aspects. And I love the remark you gave on not do pilots, do proof of concepts, because I'm a big fan of that, and I advocate also not to do pilots. And I think the issue of the Global Skills Tracker here is quite timely, because the Global Skills Tracker is a tool that is housed within the UNEVOC website, but it's the fruit of 3 intense years of labor in terms of partnerships. It's just that our partnerships look quite different than usually they do, because we look to partner within the house, within UNESCO and its multiple teams and programs. So at UNESCO headquarters, we were spearheading this project. We thought UNEVOC was the natural partner for us, because you guys have so much data already. And then we implemented the project in a way that we very rapidly went from proof of concept to scale, or I would like to call it semi-scale for now. So we went from covering 10 countries to 20 in 6 months, and we're now in the next phase. So just to give you a very brief update, the Global Skills Tracker is an online tool that aggregates online labor data from job postings that are put in platforms across the world. We have a dedicated partner, which is called Lycas, and Lycas ingests about 1.3 billion points of data on a daily basis. We take a subset of that data and try to understand what it means for certain countries in terms of their local labor markets. We are not inventing a new rocket science here. It's already been done. It's already been proven. What we're trying to do very differently is access. So a lot of these type of data is accessed and analyzed at high level in the what many call the global north. But instead of concentrating on those countries, we went for a subset of countries in Africa, Middle East, and Latin America to bring more access also to those markets. And we decided to make it all of this for free. There are no paywalls, there are no passwords and usernames, registrations that you need. You just go to the website that Max very kindly put the link into the chat, and you will have access to the data on labor markets. And why do we think this is important? We think that labor markets change so rapidly around the world, and that young people need to understand those changes and how those changes will be reflected into skills. And those are the skills they will need to have access to jobs. We combine online data with statistical data at local levels so that we have a better understanding. And some markets are very developed at a digital level. So for example, the Philippines and Malaysia. And in others, digital penetration is still an ongoing process. So we do acknowledge that. And for access to be real, also we acknowledge the issue of language. We can not only have it in English, so we've made a tremendous effort to also make it accessible in French and Portuguese, and we hope to keep expanding the number of languages as we go, including for all of the supporting tools. This tool has been designed primarily for policymakers and training institutes around the world, but we are now in our next phase, and we are trying to bring this to the level of the student, the learner, and so that people can understand what level of skills they have, and if they want to target specific jobs, how do they create the pathways to that, including what kind of training to get and where to ask that training from. So I think that we really try to look at this issue holistically, 360. We're also including the countries in this process to try to also explain to ministers and authorities how the tool works and how we can deploy it, and how people can benefit. Because at the end of the day, what Marcus says is very real. It's up to the citizens. We are the ones that are supposed to have hold our governments accountable. And for that, we need information. And so this is just another tool, another way to access that information, to understand what is happening at a broader level, and then demand the kind of quality education that we all deserve.
Thank you very much, Claudia. And then I think Max posted the link to the Global Skills Tracker on our webpage. Audience, if you would like to see how it shows the different countries. Now, I'm really pleased to also to know that the Global Skills Tracker now working on 20 countries, and it keeps expanding, hopefully, in next year. So we hear from Marcos and Claudia that data and policy are actually powerful, but only if they translate into real opportunities on the ground. Yes, investment in education is important, but if it's only ideas and not into real budget, then we need to do something more on that. So before we move on into the last theme on pathway and opportunities, I see that the participants post some questions on the Q&A box. Maybe the panelists, you can look at the questions and answer while we are continuing, or at the next closing session. Or maybe let me just try to read some of these. It's about the AI. I see some comments here. Okay. We will answer the question later. Now, let's move on into the next theme on pathways and opportunities. How youth can navigate from ideas to scale. You mentioned that Global Skills Tracker is also one of the pathways, Claudia, for this young people to tap into labor market to see how the situation on the ground, especially for the 20 countries, and compare. Now, I would first ask Jessica on the concrete skills. We know that YMCA Europe operates, I think, across more than 30 countries now. Yes. I would like to ask the concrete skills development and entrepreneurship opportunities that young people in the audience and those who will see our recording later tap into through YMCA networks today.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so across Europe, we're present in over 30 countries, but again, we're also global organizations present in 120 countries. So most likely, there's probably a YMCA around your corner, and you don't have to look too hard for it. But in each of these YMCAs, they're going to maybe have a little bit of a different mix of what they offer. But I think that's the cool thing about YMCAs is that they offer an ecosystem and a place to connect and bring in different things. And it's not just a program that you can sign up and follow. And I think earlier speakers were talking about how education is changing because we have so many different technologies. It's more about cultivating a desire to learn and try different things and experiment. And I think in the YMCA, that's the biggest place. It offers you a safe place to do non-formal education and also experience learning by doing, so trying things out. So in many of our YMCAs, we actually have digital hubs set up. And so that's been a project that we've been working with HP to bridge the gap of a digital divide. So oftentimes at these centers, you're going to be finding access to devices and internet and also guidance of someone coming in and, what skills do you want to learn? I think exactly what Claudia was saying is, where do you want to go? And what skills would you need for that? And from that, we've utilized quite a few online free resources where we can help kind of do like a pick and mix of different, HP Life is one of them where we suggest a couple different modules that maybe we also connect you with different young people that have the same idea, or we like to connect you with maybe the local city government and the different pathways and avenues with that to really be able to make youth-led local projects. And I love what Claudia and Marcus were saying of, it's not a pilot, but a proof of concept that then can be scaled not only within the community, but to further communities. So it's really about, I think, that learning by doing and, solving real problem skills. It's going to look different probably in every community and where you're at, but that's usually the bedrock is that there's a person there ready to welcome you and ready to help you chart your own path and set you up with the hard skills that you might need. And if we can't give it at the YMCA, we'll refer you to other learning institutes, but also the life skills and the community connections. Furthermore, YMCA and similar to BeChangeMaker, we offer mobility and this international aspect, ability to connect either online, but also through, especially in Europe, through different mobility opportunities like the Erasmus Plus program and different conferences that allow young people to get together from different places and again, share, connect, work together. So that would be my recommendation for anyone here and anyone that's listening is, quickly type into Google your YMCA near me, stop by, see what they have on offer and, start chatting and they'll definitely help you walk where you want to go in life.
Thank you, Jessica. So audience, start Googling today, YMCA and their programs. Thank you so much, Jessica. Now we move to Claudia. While YMCA and other organizations out there doing their amazing things on critical life skills, building this for young people and other groups of lifelong learners, I would like to answer you some suggestions for policymakers. How can policymakers ensure that these skills are not neglected in TIFET and skills reforms? Those skills that were mentioned in the earlier exercise. Resilience, agility.
Thanks, Lenny. So I think that first we need to understand what the skills needed are, right? And I think that's already in itself a challenge when things are changing so fast. And then we need to contextualize them because not all the skills look the same in different contexts. I think that we talk very broadly about digital skills and greening skills and soft skills, but what do they mean for young people that have very different realities? Also, this idea that youth groups are not homogeneous groups and that they have very different lives. So, like a rural person in Colombia will have very um, different set of skills and needs that probably somebody living in Islamabad, right? So what is it that your context needs, and how do we provide that? And then governments need to understand that and be able to provide it, but they also, I think, we need to communicate. Governments need to communicate a lot better in terms of what is out there, what are the resources that are out there, and what is available for young people. I think like the YMCA example, it's great of local grassroots organizations trying to promote this, and governments spend so much time and money on resources that often just lay dormant in websites or projects that very few people know about. So I think that this issue of communicating not to the audiences we think or governments think are the right ones, but really trying to understand how does my key target audience communicate and how do I reach them so that I can provide them the information that they have, and that not that they have, but the information that they need. So I think that's a key issue, but really trying to understand this variety of young people, that they will have different needs, that you will have to target and adapt programs based on that. We know that there is no silver bullet, unfortunately. Um, it will make our life so much easier if there was one, but there's not, and so we've learned that. And then how do we communicate, and how do we make that accessible? And thinking also, about the different layers of vulnerabilities that also young people face. Being young is perhaps a vulnerability, not always, but being a woman is sometimes a vulnerability in certain contexts. If you have a disability, that's another layer of vulnerability. So really, really thinking about who our target audience is and how we reach them, I think that will be ideally what we aim for.
Thank you, Claudia. I think we all can learn from what Aishwarya answered when she asked about what is the first step of creating Glofatrix. We need to come into the audience and really learn about their problems, understanding what we can contribute to solve them. So we really need to come to young people and ask, what do you need? What do you think you will need in the future, and how the policymakers can solve this through the policy that they create in the different countries. So thank you so much. Now we will try to answer live some questions from the audience. I have here the questions from Muhammad Asif Iqbal. I think this is directed to you, Marcos. So from an investor perspective, what key factors make a TVET-based entrepreneurial idea scalable and worthy of funding, especially in developing countries like Pakistan?
So I think what makes specifically TVET related startups successful from an investor perspective, that is a tough one, because I think that the general rule for getting successful investment is certainly what is the prospect of return on invest. And this is not related to Pakistan, it's not related to TVET, it is related to any kind of startup. I think the issue with TVET related startup investment is how can you find an investor who cares about the same area where you have your solution? Because frequently these solutions are pretty local in their way how they address topics, and you cannot gain interest of large venture capital funds from the world for a local problem. And again, this is not Pakistan, it's not TVET, it's a global thing. So therefore, The question is, who are the beneficiaries of the solution that you are working on, and how could you convince them to invest into that solution to make it a really locally driven, locally owned activity that can bring things forward? So you might have the smartest idea in the world, but if it tasks only or addresses only a small area of interest, you won't find an investor for that. It's unfortunate, but the reality in this market. And on the other side, if you have a generic global app, and you might find an investor who thinks that's a good idea, and you suddenly get lots of investment for that. So I think this is a real challenge for these local activities, and therefore my recommendation would be manage what you can control, and that is your engagement in the local community to see if you find supporters over there, and maybe some interesting doors can open up. But I think there is no real answer for getting investors for hyperlocal specific things. Unfortunately, if I had it, I would maybe be in other business by now.
Thank you, Marcus. So maybe I would like to reiterate what Rudra, yeah, from Glofatrix mentioned, that keep talking about your ideas and build networks, especially with the people around yourself. So maybe you can find people with the same frequency to fund your ideas. So Jessica, Claudia, do you want to chip in this, answering this?
Sure. I want to say also that oftentimes when we think about new ideas, we think about naturally reaching the HPs and big companies of the world, right? And I think what Marcus says is very valuable. There is a network of SMEs, so small, medium enterprises, that are working locally and that have a vested interest in solving the local problems. So, and it's also the risk of reaching out to them could be perhaps lower than trying to pitch at a very high level, where you will get a once in one shot and that's it. I think that this issue of iteration with the local community until you have your idea ready to like really scale and go big is also really valuable, and we don't tap into those SMEs as much as we should. And there is a lot of, I think, low level capital that is sitting dormant there that could be mobilized in smarter ways. And yes, it takes more effort because you have to go door to door and try to connect. But just think about it. You already know all of these people because you have friends who have parents and aunties and uncles, and you have your youth group and you go to church, and all of these are networks. It's not only about the professional networks, right? And so talk about your idea, say it out loud, and there might be someone who's interested. And I don't think, we tend to forget that some of these big disrupted companies were not born big and disruptive. They started in somebody's head, somewhere like small and local, and then they figure out a way to grow. So I think it's all the same pathways for everyone. And I think also every idea it's valuable, but be very sure that you are presenting very clearly what your value proposition is.
Thank you, Claudia. Jessica?
Yeah, I not too much to add. I mean, I think it's reiterating with the network point of view. And I think, I mean, in terms of scaling, I think, yeah, it's very important locally that you really have that network really fine-tuned. And I think there is a lot of funding and opportunity already at that level. But if you are looking to go beyond, I think, again, it goes back to that network of connecting with other people that maybe have that same issue in those different communities and seeing maybe what already is there and forming, again, more collaborative partnerships. They're going to maybe know a little bit ways of what needs to be tweaked or maybe how to rephrase something. And so I think there's a lot of strength in that kind of building that community, building those relationships and networks with other people that think similarly. So it's just really about connecting, communicating. And then I would also say just willing to go and try. And it might not be super successful at the beginning going to a new location, but that's going to be learning, and you're going to take those little nuances for your next part. And I think that is going to also attract other people to your idea, is because they're going to say, oh, well, maybe we could change something different. And maybe if we bring this person in and we can go bigger with that. And once you bring more people and make it collaborative, a lot of great ideas and products and companies come out of that.
Thank you, Jessica. So young people, do not afraid of rejection. Just learn and learn how to improve, and eventually you will find the right partners. So everyone joining us today, as you listen to this perspective, consider who do you need as partner to scale up your idea. So it's not only pilot project. The second, also consider what policy or system level barrier do you want to challenge, and which pathway can you tap into next. We have YMCA, we have BeChangeMaker, and Global Skills Tracker. Now, scaling skills for life is not only about learning, it's about access, coordination, and collective actions. Now, please join me in thanking the panelists for their insights. And I would like to also thank all of you for being part of this conversation. At UNESCO-UNEVOC and across the BeChangeMaker community, we believe that when skills policy and partnerships align, youth-led solution can thrive at scales. Now, thank you, Claudia, Jessica, and Marcus. I would like now to pass the screen to my colleague Priscilla Gatonye to close our event today.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Priscilla.
Thank you so much. Very insightful conversation you've had, and I believe a lot of people were taking notes, me included, and I believe we can have a lot of discussions and points that we can touch on. So it's been a long festival, and as usual, we always take feedback, and we love hearing from everyone. And of course, we are going to share with you how to reach us. We have a webpage dedicated for the BeChangeMaker. We have modules for HP Life on entrepreneurship, if that's where you want to get started on. We now have YMCA on board with definitely a lot of modules that you can tap into. We have the Global Skills Tracker that is also tapped onto this webpage, plus so many other opportunities for you to get started and to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of work is here, and we cannot run away from it. We have green skills that need to be developed. We have AI and digital skills that are important, global citizenship skills, but these skills alone cannot thrive. So they are not enough for you to sit on your own, or they're not enough on their own. They need life skills. And this is the skills that we discussed today in length, where we talk about skills that can help you to innovate, to come up with solutions that really impact the community, skills that allow you to thrive, to be resilient, to have agility, to have employability, as well as entrepreneurship. So we encourage every one of you to get these new skills, life skills, because you depend on them. These are no longer survival skills, but they are skills that will allow you to thrive in the end. So I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been participating. I will start with all the panelists who have been here. You've seen we've set a good number of panelists who are very expatriate, for lack of a better word. They're experts in their fields, and they give us a lot of information that we didn't know before. So then help me to thank all the panelists. You can use the reaction button to just give a clap to everyone who participated today in giving their insights. We had HP, we had World Skills International, we had YMCA, we had the young people who came and spoke to us. We had UNESCO-UNEVOC head of office. We had Claudia from UNESCO itself. We had so many other speakers. We had Jackie from Kenyatta University in Kenya. We had HP from Switzerland. We had someone from UAE. So this is not, we don't take it for granted that they provided 2.5 hours of their time to come and speak to us. Thank you so much, our participants, for that. And of course, everyone who has been sitting here for 2.5 hours. It's been very engaging. I saw so many of you talking to us on chat, asking very insightful questions, as well as participating in the Mentimeter. So thank yourself for being here as a young person, as a policymaker, as a TVET practitioner Whoever you are, from wherever you come from, please thank yourself. And as usual, it is always a pleasure. Please remember to use this toolkit that we are going to provide, and you can get our recording of this session after this on the webpage that we have just shared on the chat. Reach out to us. UNESCO-UNEVOC, we are always open. We would want to help you get started on this journey. We like to cooperate with a lot more partners, and we are always ready to discuss opportunities for collaboration and exploring more synergies in our work. So thank you so much, everyone. And without forgetting, we have a very robust team from UNESCO-UNEVOC who have been working on this program for a while, and also WorldSkills International. I want to personally thank the CMA team who are behind the scenes here. We have Max behind the scenes. We have Eleni, who has been putting a lot of work and communicating. And of course, the bigger fraternity from UNESCO-UNEVOC, HP, YMCA, and WorldSkills International, who are the partners for this program. Thank you so much. We look forward to your feedback, and have a fantastic afternoon, evening, break, and the rest of the day. Thank you so much, and goodbye.